Okay, welcome everybody. I am talking to one of my most favorite clients, Christina Grey, which I've always loved that name. I don't know, it kind of feels like an X-Men or something like that. I think that's why I love it
Ooh,
so much.
let's
You
put it
know.
out there. Put it out there.
And Christina went through my Magnetic Creators program, and it was really it was a great experience for me because immediately when we started talking, Christina, um, I recognized you as the type of client and easily the kind of friend that I would love to have. We're talking about manifestation, we're talking about just different techniques and things that we were both doing to jumpstart and move forward. And I really appreciated that you took the time to reach out. And I want to start there, maybe, Christina. You can tell us a little bit about where you were at and how you found me and what sparked that initial, you messaged me on Instagram, I believe it was, or maybe you just booked a call. I can't remember,
No,
but
I messaged you first on Instagram. I did. I found you on TikTok. You came on my FYP page, and instantly I said, you know what? I think this guy can help me or give me the little like extra nudge of where I want to go. So, I mean, at the time, I was going through a weird transition as we were all in this pandemic, and I was going through a transition of like, where exactly I wanted to be. I know what I wanted. I just didn't know if I had the proper tools. I guess I was going through like a little bit of self doubt and knowing exactly what I wanted, but not knowing if I had the proper tools to kind of get me there. I was, back with my family in Florida, contemplating, do I go back to LA? Do I not? Do I stay here? I had also freshly came out of a situationship, as you might say, situationship.
love that.
And I was feeling a little bit not aligned. I was not aligned, but I knew that I was in a transition for sure, and which we all go through. And I've been in transitions before, but this time it was different for me because I wanted to change drastically. Like I wanted things to really move in my life. And I said, well, this time has to be different, and I didn't want to keep doing the same things over again. It's like, they say you do things over and over again. It's like insanity, the same things over. So I said, no, I know what I want. I need to get my mindset together because I had a lot of things going on in my mind and self doubt, and I needed to get my mind right. So I needed that extra push and extra, like, where do I go? I need a little bit of guidance and accountability. And then I pretty much put it out there. I said it like, I kind of need that. I wanted that. I wanted like meditation, how to meditate, right? How to manifest, how to do all these things. Um, and obviously later on, you find out like there's no right or wrong way. But at
Yeah.
that moment, I was just like, that's what I want. And then lo and behold, I'm going through TikTok and you just randomly came up on my page. And I've never had like, you know, a, a manifestation coach or anything like in your realm, in your
Mm,
world, have ever came up on my FYP page.
that's
So
amazing.
that's
And
random.
I love that, the power of intention, which is a lot of things that I do talk about when you set that intention out there and you just, I don't know, be open to however things show up
Mhm.
for you. And the clarity, right? And I think that's something that when I talk about clarity, it really is finding the accountability to do the things that you want, finding
Mhm.
the empowerment, the possibility. And maybe you can just briefly go down into the clarity call and what took you from maybe to a yes within the clarity call. What kind of like what were you looking for, and what was there anything that I said specifically that made you be like, okay,
Mhm.
yes, we're gonna do this?
I think with you kind of gave this safe place of kind of finding your footing. It wasn't like you have to do this, and if you're not doing this, this is not going to happen for you. So you kind of gave a safe place. And I think that's when I really started to get clarity on, like, I didn't have to be so hard on myself. Like,
Mm.
I didn't have to like have this, like that, like this, like, because when I started, I was just like, okay, this has to be this. I need this. I want this extra push, and I want this guidance. And I realized that, you didn't have, it's okay that you're not at your super, super best today, and being gentle with yourself. I didn't really know how to do that. I've only known how to, like, you got to get yourself together. You got to get it together. You got to do this. You got to do this better. And I started rewarding myself for the little wins. And I
Yes.
think you kind of created that space that you can do that. You could have little wins and celebrate that, and be easy on yourself, be kind to yourself, and take things one at a time. Like, I started to break down all of my intentions and my manifesting, the things that I wanted to manifest. And I realized how I work, or how you kind of guided me, because everybody works a little different. You kind of like, you know, it's almost like, since I've done coaching, in terms of like, I've been like a dance teacher, and I've done model coaching. I always say I teach you the technique, but then you have to kind of create your own thing after a while. So I feel like you kind of gave me these tools of, like, you don't have to do this, you can be this, and it's okay. It's okay. Like, when I used to say, oh, impulsive is bad, you're like, what are some of the bad, things that I didn't realize it was over time that it's people say those things to you, and you just start to believe it.
Yeah,
So all
and
those, yeah.
yeah, and I think especially within the clarity call, one of the things that I do love to say is like, this is you taking responsibility. A lot of we don't really see those as like moments of taking steps in our life, right? You kind of zoomed ahead into a few more things that I wanted to talk about, but that is like one of the first messages that I say to clients are like, you even just reaching out to somebody and saying like, hey, I think I might be interested in this. This is the beginning, of you taking control. This is how you become a, magnetic attractor, right? This is how you become a
Mhm.
creator of your reality. Yeah. When you say, okay, I see these issues and maybe I don't have to do this alone. And maybe I can reach out to somebody
Mhm.
that inspires me. And you are, you're a model slash actress, you're a writer, you're creative, you're multi hyphenate, right? And so what were we working on specifically in regards to where you wanted to go? Like, maybe just let us know what were the things that you were looking to change. And you kind of talked about it already, right? Like,
Yeah. Well, one of the things that I wanted to change, we talked a lot about, we did work on content, and kind of being deliberate about,
your social
who
media
am I?
content.
Social media content, of creating a presence and branding, and how important um, that was. And that allowed me to become very clear, like specific with who I am, like who my avatar was,
Mhm.
and that helped with content, and I think also when we would talk about, I guess it was kind of like, oh, I don't know if I should do this or do that, it was like excuses or whatever. I have like like at times I've had like these perfection complexes where, you work on something and you don't want to put it out because it hasn't gotten to where you think it should be. And now you always need a start. You have to start somewhere, and you're only as good as your last post, or your last video, or your last song, or your last movie. So you have to have somewhere to grow into. And for a long time, it took me a long to put out my short film, because I struggled with this like perfection complex, and it got to the point where I was like, I have to put it out,
Put it out. Yeah.
and so I think even with content, I just started putting out more relatable things that I connected with, that were true to me, and people related to that. And I found like kind of like a little niche in that,
Yeah.
it's where I could live in a space, like I could live in, being an actress or being comedic and being, because I am a chameleon, I could do all those things, but I kind of found like my space there. So yeah, we did work on a lot on social media, creating a presence, who you are, being very specific about your avatar, and also limiting beliefs of like what that is. And we worked on that. Like I didn't even know that was what it was called when, because you're like, when we got into it, you're like, that's limited beliefs. And I was like, what is that? So definitely, with you saying that and
And that's the
giving me
thing,
yeah.
like awareness, right? What I really, you said something, you have to start. You just have to start, right? Even in the
Mhm.
messy, even in the unknown. I think that's the most beautiful, like poignant, like kind of space to be in. Like, I'm just going to start the thing because I have the vision, I have the design.
Mhm.
Um, Perfectionism, right? It has to be perfect, or I have to know all the things before I
Mhm.
can put it out there. It's like we end up on this hamster wheel
Yeah.
of creating and never putting things out, and before you know it, so much time has gone by and you don't do a thing. And that is kind of the limiting beliefs that we have of, I'm not good enough, right? Or I can only be this one thing in order to be successful. For you, it's like,
Right.
I have to focus on being a model, right? Or I have to focus on this acting kind of
Mhm.
scenario or genre, and I think where we really, how we worked together, or what was really good about working with you, was the mindset. You were so open to different mindset shifts,
Mhm.
and yeah, the content creation, especially being a creator and wanting to put yourself out there and it being received well, but also feeling authentic, right?
Yeah.
Finding your voice, finding what works for you. And for anybody out there who is looking to create content and build an audience, right? Like, remember
Mhm.
that your authenticity is going to be the thing that gets you furthest. Because if it's for you, all you have to do is be you and realize it's going to come, right? So
Absolutely.
I really love that. And so, what was your most favorite part about working together? What did you really enjoy about working together?
Um, I enjoyed I enjoyed our banter. Like I, say I like our like banter, our sense of humor. I feel like we have similar sense of humors. I definitely feel like what was so good was that I felt like it was safe. Like I felt like I could be funny. And I think as over time and as we keep talking, you'll start to really see that in me. But during our time, during the program, it was just, I felt like really safe that I can really talk to you about anything. And how you made it very like, um, you kind of pushed me to be very specific about the things that I was thinking and feeling and doing and putting things in like perspective, because like I didn't even like I started to learn like now I'm progressing and learning more and more about myself, is like certain things that I didn't, I guess, quote unquote, get before, or thought my manifestation wasn't working, knowing that I was coming from like this scarcity mindset of like a place of lack and all this stuff that I wouldn't even realize I was doing that. And that was really good, like, because we would have this banter together and I would be like, yeah, because I was doing this and I can't believe this. And you're like, no, this is why. This is happening. It's not this, it's not that. This is why. So I like kind of like bringing it all together. So I would kind of like put everything out there and then you would kind of like tie it like
I
all
bet,
together.
yeah.
It kind of gave me really good direction. And I think that's really what I was looking for, someone to hold me accountable, which is the first thing I said to you when we first got on. So you asked me, what did you want from you? What did I want from you? And I wanted someone to hold me accountable and wanting clearer direction. And I feel like I've got that, like even gotten to the point, for me calling myself a filmmaker, because I think I spent a lot of time like, well, I do so many things and I do this. And calling myself a filmmaker or creator made me feel really good. It started to make me really feel so good about having that title. It made me feel like I had a place in this world. I had a purpose, that is who I am. And I like being in that space. So working together, I did enjoy you kind of like putting things in perspective when I was going, like my tentacles were like going all over and I was like, you were bringing it back. Cause I think that's what gives people clear guidance on their path, on their journey.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
and I that's one of the things that I do try to create is a container of safety and being able to express yourself and the clarity, the again, being really specific about what you're asking for is like the number one thing to manifesting, right? It's like
Mhm.
you want to
Mhm.
be so specific in the direction that you're going so that you have that, the map, so to speak, right? I think a lot of us sometimes say, like, I have all of these things that I want. And so that clouds are the direction, right? We don't know where we're going. And I think that's really beautiful. And so, you know, what did you receive from, did you get what you were looking for?
Mhm.
What were your key takeaways, or like what's kind of like changed in this moment for you?
I think, wow, it's so much have changed for me in a lot of ways, because I'm so deliberate now. Like I'm so deliberate about my well-being. I'm so like, showing up for myself every day. One thing also you also taught was like putting my emotions in perspective, like when I'm feeling something, what it actually means. So my self-awareness has like gone straight through the roof. Like with with working with you, my self-awareness, like I know going into like different situations, whether it's friends, whether it's a relationship, whether whatever it is, um, I have such a strong sense of who I am that I will. It sounds crazy, but it's almost impossible for anyone to tell me something that doesn't align with me. Like if somebody was like, oh, you have an issue with so and so. If somebody were to try to tell me something, like
Mhm.
because in the past I've had people say things, whether it was a guy, whatever, I was seeing people say things to you and they want it to affect you. They
Yeah.
want to get to you. And sometimes you start to believe it. You start to be like, well, is that really true? Or like, is that how people see me? So you start questioning those things, and then you do all these things that. Oh, and one takeaway since I'm on, like, what's so interesting with everything I worked on with you is that what I used to do when I internalized things that people said to me, I would work on these things to make myself better
Mm,
for this person or these quote unquote people, so then I could be viewed as a better person because I'm working on these things to appease these people. And I was never working on a better version of myself. I was
yeah.
never working on that. I was only internalizing things that were giving me more complexes. And I'm over here trying to be the better person for another person, or a better friend, a better girlfriend. I want to be viewed as this. And I wasn't living or trying to make Christina happy or make it
Yes.
about my well-being. I made it about everybody else. And sometimes people think that they're trying to fix themselves for what, oh, I got to stop being this and I got to stop being that. And you start to just kind of send yourself on a hamster wheel of
Well, that's
trying
the
to like,
thing.
yeah,
When you're constantly trying to be a person that other people want you to be, you can't keep up. You're only one person and there are billions of other people, right? And
Yeah.
hundreds of people in your life. Like, it's really hard. And that is beautiful, right? The empowerment, the
Mhm.
grounding, the foundation. Um,
Absolutely.
these are all the things. This is literally the this is the foundation of my manifestation technique, right? When I talk about being a magnetic creator, this is you understanding your vibration, you
Mhm.
understanding who you are, who you want to be, where you're going. And that, right, is your energy.
Yeah.
If you're attaching your identity to other people's like visions, you are basically attaching yourself to a wild horse.
Oh, yeah.
And there is no
You're everywhere.
stability there. And I think that that is one of the key factors to being super successful in creating the changes that you want. Now, what are you working on right now? Where are you headed to right now? And yeah, just kind of give us a little insight into what you're doing.
Well, right now, because I did, in the beginning, I was journaling all the time. I finished like a whole journal, and I wake up every week there, or every month there's a new intention.
Mm,
So, and I also realized for me, like I was saying earlier, is that the way I work through an intention, whether it's a week, a month, until I get to the point where it is reprogrammed and I believe it, and I don't even have to think about it again. It's like second nature to me now.
well, that's
Yeah,
a reprogramming of the subconscious belief, right? Like,
right.
a belief is something that you don't have to think about. It's just who you are. It's how you
It's
see the
just
world.
exactly.
Yeah.
So what I was working on May, and I May was supposed to be my creative month, but it turned into my money month. And so June
Love
is
that.
going to be my creative month. But what I was doing, because I was working on money, I this is my money stone. I burnt a whole candle, and at the end of the candle, there's a stone.
Cool. Love
So
that.
I had my stone, and now it's like my relationship with money completely has shifted, because now it's like I know it's always going to be there. I know I can make it. I'm always like I'm always in abundance. I'm never going to be without. Like I'm
Yeah.
always going to be in abundance. So I felt like so relaxed and at peace with that. So then it's like, oh, it's fun. What's my next intention? What's my next thing that I'm going to start reprogramming? And I listen to even the meditation that you gave me. I would listen to it like every night. I have a specific one that I started recording myself. I recorded all of my daily affirmations. So I have my
Nice.
daily affirmations that I do religiously on the wall, and then I have it in my phone on my voice memo, so I hear it. So that's a morning ritual for me. And then at night I have, like, when I was working on money, I had a money meditation, and that was like I would just let it play at night.
Cool.
And I did that for a very long time, and then you just start to it just becomes like no worries,
Yeah.
so it's like,
What was something that you manifested between our time working together?
and it came to fruition.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely.
um uh, I would say I manifested, well, I wanted to be very like, I think one thing, I don't know if you remember, but I talked about wanting to feel okay with being with myself, being alone,
Mhm.
not lonely, but being alone. And I said that to you, and where I was when we first started talking, you don't even know. Like, I literally was thinking to myself, like, I don't even know how I'm going to do that. And then it became where all I did was love hanging out with myself.
Mhm.
Like, I really enjoyed hanging out with Christina Grey. And even when people would ask me for my time, I would be like, how long? What do you need? Because I was so into my well-being, and that was a scary thing for me in the beginning. And that kind of like, as I got to know myself even more and doing the work, and I started really enjoying being by myself. I really enjoyed like growing
Yeah.
and spending time with myself, doing activities every day and getting better at that, and I started to manifest getting more acting
You
gigs. And
did. You had you there's something I see. It's so funny
They're
too, because when I
coming
talk
in
to
like
people
back,
and
back. Yeah,
yeah,
I'm exhausted.
when I talk to people and I say, "What have you created?" The thing is, and we don't give ourselves enough credit because in my head, I'm like, wait, there were a couple times we were working together that
Mhm,
you manifested a couple of gigs. Um, we were talking about building your TikTok, and you had a very specific number,
mhm.
and you got it to that number within a month. There are these little things that you put intention behind
Yes,
and
yes.
created. So I I know I put you on the spot with that one, but I really, I think that we all have to recognize how powerful we are and how beautifully magnetic we are. And when we set an intention, no matter what, big, small, expansive, or it's all literally like the thing. If you say, man, I just need to make enough money to get to this next bill, or whatever the case may be, right? um Recognizing your power in that when it does happen,
Mhm.
if you're setting a goal and you say, even if it is, you think this is a small number for me to raise my social media or whatever, and it's like you reach it,
Mhm.
show yourself some like congratulations and some high
Absolutely.
impact. um
One thing I do want to say, I hope I didn't forget it, but I one of the activities I do work on is called segmenting.
right,
And
yeah,
yeah, and that has been fantastic for me. And I tell people my friend, she's all, I'm so stressed out, and she talks, and she also has children, so it's a little bit different for her. But I told her, I said, you should try this activity. It really has changed my life. And one thing I did notice about the little intentions and things that I was setting for myself that came to fruition, how things worked for me is that I did need to set those types of numbers that felt good to me, to then get to it, and then I set another number and
yeah,
then get to it, and that is how things work for me. And what I didn't give enough credit to is when things were actually showing up, and just like, I now that I do it, I take the time to just be like, oh my God, that actually is
yeah,
happening for me.
yeah,
Like, it is like my numbers are going up. Like, YouTube, out of nowhere, I started getting more subscribers, and I
yeah,
wrote that down. And I was like, essentially, even if it doesn't get to the number, like say I set a goal and I want to get it by this month and it comes a little later after that,
mhm,
the idea is that it's growing without me not doing as much as I thought I was going to. Like, I put more, I would say, like, okay, like if I'm doing TikTok, everything else was just kind of like working its own self out, kind
mhm,
of thing. Or if I decided that I was just going to do IG or whatever, but I was doing TikTok, and then all of a sudden things were just kind of like, I started getting more YouTube subscribers, and then some Instagram people. So I looked at that, and I was just like, things are actually happen. If I am showing up every day and being deliberate and being consistent, it's gonna happen.
yeah,
That's really all it is. It's like, if I show up every day, whether it's one thing, two things, whatever in my capacity for that moment, and I do it, it's happening. Like, it is actually happening. When I said to the universe, this is what I wanted you to get done, it happened.
yeah,
So
and
that's what I'm saying.
I think
Even if
that's
I was,
beautiful. I think
yeah,
that's
like if
like,
you set a goal, go ahead.
if you set a goal and you believe it, like your segment intentioning, right? Like your
Yeah.
intention segmenting. You're saying, hey, I'm going to handle this.
Mm-hmm.
Universe, I know you can do your thing, so I'm gonna put this over here and I'm gonna forget about it.
Uh-huh.
And I'm gonna work on the things that I know I can work on, right? And I think that's the letting go aspect of it, and recognizing the evidence of your manifestations coming through. This is why they say, if you are wanting to manifest more money, you show appreciation for all the money that shows up in your life, be it a penny on the floor or
Mhm.
$1,000 in your bank account that you worked for, right? Show thanks,
Yes. Yeah.
show gratitude for the money that comes in every 2 weeks or whatever because of you
Absolutely.
working and putting your energy out there. Show gratitude for the love that you already have in your life, and that's
Yeah.
when more things show up. So
Exactly. That's what I have on over here. I said by the end of the year, I told my nieces that by the end of this year, this whole room is going to be filled with different things. Well, if I'm going to be, I won't be here in July or August, but because I'm
well,
always pasting things everywhere.
where are you going to be in July or August?
So July, I'll be in LA, as you know. And August, the plan is to be in Canada because I'm,
Hello, another manifestation that you are trying to call in, right? Come
and
on, let's talk
the
about it.
money is coming in, and I like I was saying, it's like putting showing gratitude has been extremely helpful, and that's how more things are coming in. So yes, those manifestation like going to Canada, it's becoming more clearer. Now of course with the borders and all that stuff,
You
you
do what
know
you got to do. You deal with
we
the
I do
situation.
when it comes to that time, because they're doing hopefully that the negotiations with Biden and Trudeau, that they have the vaccinated passport, that if
Yes.
you're vaccinated you can go. But yeah, that is the plan now, and I'm set to go to LA obviously. But now with June approaching, and I have all my money mantras, now I'm gonna have my creative mantras and like showing gratitude. But like this week, yeah, like with auditions, I've been slammed with auditions. So it's just and I'm in a new acting class, by the way.
Amazing.
So with
Amazing.
also with working with you, I never told you this, but working with you got me back into acting classes, because I for a while, with all the rejection and everything I was going through in LA, I suffered from stage fright a lot, because you get so much rejection that you almost sabotage yourself looking at lines, and like you're already psyching yourself out, like I'm not going to get this, why am I doing this kind of thing. So you're like sabotaging yourself. So I struggled with that, and I didn't want to go back into acting classes right away, because acting classes is very revealing.
Hmm.
It's very revealing. It's very therapeutic too. But yeah, you're going to be having to show your authentic self, and, showing the real. So that was scary for me. So now I'm back in acting class.
Oh,
And yeah, this week has been like auditions and an acting class and doing stuff for acting class. So it's like, I've been slammed with a lot of stuff. And then I had a shoot yesterday. So I was a little bit tired. And then obviously my friends flew into town. And so like,
yeah.
it's been kind of like a whirlwind week. So I'm really excited, because May was so good to me that I'm so excited for June to do my new intention, which is my creative, writing and auditions and all that stuff, and ready to really give myself wholeheartedly to June, my creative month,
I love that. I love that.
Yeah.
See, this is your energy is so like, I'm like, every time I talk to you, I'm like, she's doing the work, she's feeling it, she's growing, she's having the experience, right? Stepping into your power, stepping into your authenticity, and really feeling, I'm pushing that magnetism, right? Because
Yes.
are you are in control of your vibration through your affirmations, through the mantras, through the visioning, and through that just being grateful for the things that are showing up. You're booked and busy.
Mm-hmm.
Booked and busy.
Mm-hmm.
And so I really appreciate you taking the time to sit with me today. And I've so enjoyed our conversations, our
Yeah.
chats, and I cannot wait to say I knew you win.
Yeah.
Because that's going to be amazing just to see
Know me still, know me when and still.
how far you soar exactly.
Yeah.
Christina, thank you so, so much.
Thank you.
And for anybody who is thinking, I have a transition, I have a transformation, I have a shift, I have change on the way, definitely hit me up on Instagram like Christina did, and
Yes.
or you can book a clarity call with me. I'm always available to chat and just see how we can work together, and at the end of the day, find you just
Mhm.
that pathway forward. So thank you guys
Yes.
so much.
Thank you for having me.